another episode of our Take in 10, a podcast that brings together a community of entrepreneurs, marketers, and professionals. In each week's episode, we share with you marketing insights, knowledge, and inspirational brand stories. This week's episode, we're talking about how to stay relevant as a brand.
If you like this week's episode, please don't forget to comment, like, and share with a friend. Without further ado, here's our take on staying relevant as a brand.
Yep.
No, so much is going on, yeah? Why are you laughing? It's the truth. So much is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, social cultural trends, you know.
Yeah. Basically,
Tech
it's a very noisy world right now.
Should you be dancing as a marketer on TikTok right now? You know, how do you stay relevant in these times?
I think ultimately it begs the question, like, how do you continue to win your customers over? Every week, you know, there's people coming up with, you know, the same ideas as you as a brand and trying to do the same thing. I was laughing about this with a friend recently. We had seen another motorbike. These delivery companies.
Yeah, there are so many.
They are all over. Like every week, someone
Okay, I've got a confession. I was like, maybe I should start.
You're one of those.
I should start one.
I don't think there's anything wrong with starting.
But it's all over,
You know,
so how do you break through?
But I just feel like if you're going to do something that everyone's already doing, you need to come with some sort of relevance to the market.
Yeah. So how do you do that?
Yeah. So I think for me, I'll speak from the existing. So I'm speaking to the first guy to buy a motorbike and brand it and say, I'll be doing deliveries for small parcels and whatnot. I think the key in this area is to like continue to evolve. As competitors keep coming, there's the idea of like a learning curve. You know, when you just start the business and you 5 years later, you know so much more. You know what I mean? And as a brand, you need to continue to like evolve who you are as a brand.
Yeah.
And this comes through things like studying your customer, like we had talked about. But I also think there's a very huge need to connect with your customers in the sense that you need to continue to delight your customers. You need to continue to provide them with like things that other people are not providing, obviously, but also just delighting them. Like actually just make a connection with them, like make them happy.
Yeah,
you know,
make them feel good. Give them the feel good factor. So are you saying that innovation, but as well as putting your customer first? So be customer centric. I know I sound like an old marketer. I probably sound like Philip Kotler. What's his name? Yeah,
Philip Kotler.
Yeah, but put your customer first.
Yeah.
Be customer centric because your customer is always evolving.
Yeah.
Just as
we
times
always
are
talk
changing.
About putting your customer first.
Yeah.
But we can't not talk about it because at the end of the day, especially in today's time where it's moved from I have a product, you're the customer. Here I'm selling a comb. It detangles your hair. You can hit it and it will straighten your hair. And no, now it's like, okay, what do you want? And then I go back to my lab and
create something for you.
We create something specific to what you want, you know. A long time ago it was, we have this, here you go, buy it or whatever. But now I think there's need for companies to invest in things like focus groups and just get your customers in a room and speak to them.
Like
what are you feeling? What are you struggling with? You know, what are the challenges that you're facing? And to go back to our example of the motorbikes, the logistics industry now, I think there's, I would go back to my point of keeping that connection with your customer. You know, there are those people who jumped on board with you right from the beginning. You know, keep delighting those customers, whether this is through the delivery, making sure that you stay consistent in how you're delivering your service. And just randomly, you know, everyone likes to win something they haven't worked for. That's just human nature. We like free things, you know. I saw this brilliant campaign that a flower company was doing where they was it a flower company? I can't remember, but I think it was a flower company where it wasn't even like, usually people will buy flowers for like birthdays or the usual Valentine's Day or whatever. But then they just picked like certain customers that were regular and sent flowers to whoever they
that
would
was
send.
great, yeah.
Yeah, it might backfire if it's like an ex-wife
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But you know, the concept is the same where if I always buy flowers for your wife on this day, you know, for my wife on, let's say, her birthday or Valentine's Day, and then now I, as a flower company, to say thank you, I send flowers to your wife. For
That
just,
creates a good experience.
yeah, it's a nice delight because your wife is happy, she's happy, you're happy, everyone's happy, you receive, you know, free flowers.
I guess, innovation.
Yeah.
Constantly going out on a limb to try new things.
Evolving,
keep evolving. Be customer centric.
Yeah. Build that connection.
Yeah, and then just to add on the whole flower thing, your total brand experience. You know, make sure that you have a total good brand experience all around. Yeah.
And to just back that one up, the last point I have is your brand is powered from the inside. So if the culture of your brand on the inside doesn't reflect what you're trying to portray on the outside, it usually falls apart. Have you ever heard of those brands where, especially like in the West, where it's this huge brand and they have this certain culture, and then later on you find these documentaries come out about them where they were talking about like, oh, inside this is what was happening.
Oh yeah, like it's toxic.
Yeah, it's a toxic work environment and all of those things. Those are sure signs to kill your brand, because if the culture doesn't reflect what you're trying to portray on the outside, it falls apart. A lot of times your staff are client facing and they are the ones who would then, you know, drive your brand onto the market and say, okay, every time we interact with customers, we're friendly, we're excited and all those things. If they're not experiencing that on the inside, like internally, it's very difficult for that culture to continue outside.
On the outside.
Yeah.
I have a question for you though, Mufaya. I know I've said like constantly going out on a limb to try new things, right?
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes though, why do you think some brands get it wrong when staying relevant? Like you try something, so for example in your communication, you do something very different, and then consumers react very badly. So for example, I don't know, I can't remember the exact advert, but I think it was Gillette or something. Yeah. They did like an advert and like it backfired on them because like the main consumer was male, but I think like they touched on the femininity side, and like in this time and age, like there's that whole, you know, the whole concept of like toxic masculinity, right? So as a brand, like how do you try out new things, right, but still staying true to your purpose, and not like risking it?
I think at the end of the day, when you're looking at like your marketing team, now I'm speaking to like the marketing team and not like, as a marketing team, you have to also understand that at the end of the day, consumers, customers are human beings, and it's very easy to misjudge people. And so sometimes, yes, you might run into situations where you thought it might come out like this, and you intended for the message to be this way, but then it sort of just
backfires.
You know what I mean? And that's where I think you need to then really back in quickly before it becomes this wildfire that you're failing to put out. I think when you get it wrong as a brand, own it and say, okay, you know what, guys, we thought we were speaking to this aspect of your lives, and we noticed that this is happening and we wanted to help and serve you in that way, but we clearly miscommunicated or we clearly misjudged the situation. So I think you own it. It's very normal for brands to get it wrong, but
you shouldn't be afraid to try something. Otherwise you end up like Nokia and BlackBerry. Guys, I'm not so make sure you you know,
you have to continue to evolve, continue to connect with your customers by delighting them.
Have a total good brand experience.
And remember, brands are powered from the inside. So make sure the couch on the inside is right because it influences the brand experience.
Yeah, but I think the key one is put your customer first.
Always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is 10 minutes, yes? Mapalo?
Yeah. Did we get it right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We managed to do it
Did
in
we
10
do it
minutes.
in 10 minutes this time? Almost. Oh,
I guess it's a wrap from this week's episode.
Until next time, thank you for joining us. Twatasha.
Twatasha Mkwai, Twataizia. The people who come after me. So do you say Twataizia? Twataizia? Yeah?
What language is it? Mambo.
I think it's Mambwe. Thank you for joining us in this week's episode. Until then, peace.